Good evening. Thank you for joining us on this February 22nd, 2023, which is zero. Never mind that. You are watching Legit Paranormal News brought to you by legitpodcast.com. I am King Michael.
I'm Dreamy David Barr.
And now our top story.
All right, Mike, we're going dinosaurs because my kid she's coming out of a dinosaur phase. And earlier this month is a strange rare fish. It's from a species that dates back to the time of the dinosaurs, washes up on the East Coast. It's called the Atlantic sturgeon, and it was spotted by naturalist and photographer Alan Sklar. It was on the shore of Assateague Island, which is a 37-mile-long strip of land across the coasts of Maryland and Virginia. He took several images of the large fish, which I'll show after we're done talking. This one is only about 3 feet in length.
Oh, 3 feet. Okay.
It's a large fish. It's usually found in rivers and coastal waters from Canada to Florida. They can reach up to 14 feet long, and they can weigh more than 800 pounds.
Wow.
And this is according to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. So they sound pretty legit, unlike the chicken thing we were talking about last week, the National Chicken Commission or something like that.
Yep.
So these fish can live to be 60 years old, and they have a very distinctive appearance. They have 5 rows of protective bony plates called scutes that run along their body. They have long snouts and shark-like tails. They used to be pretty abundant, but overfishing and habitat loss has caused them to almost become extinct. The reason why they were prized is because their eggs, they were a source of high-quality caviar. And 4 of the 5 distinct Atlantic sturgeon populations in the United States are now enlisted as endangered.
Have you ever had caviar?
I have.
What do you think?
It's just salty. It's like mushy salt.
It's gross.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary.
I don't understand the appeal of it, but
I'll take butter.
Yeah.
I digress.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one, Mike.
Where did I leave you off?
So because of the Act's protections, it's actually illegal to catch these fish or harvest them for their eggs here in the U.S. They are a prehistoric fish. They've been dated back to more than 120 million years ago when the dinosaurs were still around. So Sklar said that they have no scales, only rows of hard plates, which we talked about. These things are bottom feeders. So they eat anything like clams, mussels, dead fish. Under its chin, it has 4 whiskers called barbels, which are used to sense the bottom of the ocean floor for food. The mouth is hard and bony, and it has no teeth, which I thought was kind of weird.
Why do they get the name the whiskers barbels?
I don't know. Why not just call them whiskers, right?
It's just very confusing. It's because I'm thinking, you know what barbells are, so if they resemble them, I still wouldn't call them barbells because it's confusing for people like me when you describe whiskers, which I know what those mean when you say the word, as barbells.
Yeah, or call them like little tentacles or feelers or something.
What about barbell whiskers?
Right. So similarly, some of these have been found in lakes. They have lake sturgeons. One was found in December. They have also been overfished. These fish, they're kind of unique in that they are born in freshwater. They migrate over to the ocean, and then they return to freshwater again to lay their eggs and spawn. So
how do you go from fresh water to salt water?
I have no idea how they do that.
What are they? What type of like filter do they have within their system to be able to filter out that salt water, or are they able to just compensate for the lack of salt in the fresh water?
Maybe they just have a dual filtration system built into them. I don't know, because they do go back and forth. They go from the freshwater to the ocean and then back to the freshwater when they're ready to lay their eggs and everything. So it's pretty weird.
Sounds like me going from the ice bath to the hot tub, from the ice, like the pool. You know, I would do that hop. I don't know if you do it just to see how cold it is.
I do that in the shower in the morning. Actually, I go from cold to warm back to cold.
Yes. So I take cold showers every single time I shower. I read that about a year ago, and it has helped with weight, and it has helped with energy, because the thing is, you don't have to, like, I am now where I start off with it warm, and then I'll do a good 8 to 10 minutes cold, and it actually warms me up, or I get feeling better. I don't know why I brought that up, but it's true.
Yeah, it actually opens up like all your vessels and allows for better blood flow and things like that. Sarah, how are you? She just popped in to say hello.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of Wim Hof, who himself is pretty paranormal. I don't know if you've heard of him. It's called the Iceman.
Okay.
He's been submerged up to his neck in ice.
I know.
He holds the Guinness Book of World Records for that. He can hike up mountains in shorts and hiking boots. He's run a marathon through the desert barefoot with no water. He does all these crazy things.
A lot of Sarah's saying right now the shock of the cold shower tricks the body to warming. That is somewhat true, but that's like but secondly, that guy right there is of a small few that for some reason they can control their body temperature. Like I've seen it done, like where they can control their body temperature, and I don't even know like what bone what are they using? Like, how do you tap into that? You know what I'm trying to say? It's like they got an arm that I wouldn't even know how to, like, it's like playing guitar. It's like asking me to play this like guitar solo, and I'm like, what do you want me to do here? That's how I feel like with that. Like, how can they control their body temperature, but I take the dogs out and my hands go white?
I don't know. Actually, you can spend 4 days with Wim for, it's like over it's like, I think 2,800 euros. And he'll teach you how to do that. And on day 4, you hike up the mountain with him in just shorts and hiking boots. It's pretty fascinating. Science is studying that guy. But I also know what you're talking about, because I've seen videos of Tibetan monks.
Yep.
Who they're on like an icy mountaintop and they have wet towels over them.
Oh, yeah.
But the towels are steaming from the body heat that these guys are able to generate.
Yep.
Instead of freezing to their skin and giving them frostbite. And one of them says he has a mental trick where he imagines himself like as a flame inside of a balloon, heating up the air inside the balloon. I don't know. It seems to work for him. But yeah, it's pretty fascinating what these people can do.
Who would willingly menopause? I'd give it a go. I'll be the first guy to do it. I'll take the hit if that's what it's going to be. If you want me to set records, right, Dave? I'll take the first. I'll go through menopause. I'm right around that age. Let me have it. Why not? I'm going through it anyways. I got a wife who would disagree and say I'm already going through it. I'm sorry. Continue. Oh, Dave, would you? Can all right. I'm sorry. Continue. I'm just fixing stuff.
So, speaking of things that people can do, we have some scientists who are working to resurrect dinosaurs and extinct animals. So there's a tech company. They're on a mission to resurrect some of the world's oldest creatures, including the woolly mammoth, the Tasmanian tiger, and the dodo bird.
Wait a minute. Time out. Stop. Stop. See, I don't want to interrupt you. But say those three animals again.
The woolly mammoth.
Okay, stop. Fantastic idea. Check.
Jurassic Park, anybody?
Next.
The Tasmanian tiger.
Oh, I'd love to see it. Check. Next.
And the dodo bird.
Nope. No. Nope.
Why not the dodo bird, Mike?
For what?
I don't know.
Think of his name, the dodo bird. It's a dope for a bird. It's a dumb bird. He's a dummy. What does he do?
I have no idea what the dodo
look
bird
up how
does.
a dodo bird flies. And then tell me how you like a dodo. Dodo birds are those birds. Why do we have birds still around that are like not birds? You know what I mean? Like, come on now. If you can't fly, are you a bird? No, not my opinion. No. You know, that they might have a huge protest to birds. There might be like a big conspiracy theory amongst other birds. She's talking about the dodo. Dodo. All right, I'm sorry.
So this all comes from the Texas-based firm Colossal Biosciences. They have received hundreds of millions of dollars from venture capitalists to de-extinct these animals with the expertise of world-renowned geneticists. So how are they going to do this? Again, taking a page from Jurassic Park, they're going to use DNA from existing animals. So they're saying that an Asian elephant's DNA matches that of the mammoth by 99.6%. So they think that this is a good sign that they're going to be able to succeed in resurrecting the woolly mammoth.
Okay. 1 second. 99.6%?
Yes.
All right. And what did they say chimpanzees were to humans?
I don't know. It's pretty close.
Yeah, it's up there, though, right? It's up in the 80s, at least, right?
Yeah.
All right, so if they can, do the woolly mammoth thing behind the scenes, what's next? Well, I think chimpanzees are pretty close. That's why it scares the crap out of me. I don't think we should be remaking anything.
Oh, I don't think so either. I don't want to see a T-Rex running through my backyard because some scientist is like, well, we brought back the woolly mammoth. Why not bring back a T-Rex or a velociraptor?
Yeah, well, I mean, yes, the 98% chimpanzees. Here's the thing. I wouldn't mind seeing one T-Rex. That'd be awesome. But like woolly mammoths are like, the big hairy elephants. Like we already got kind of that. And then, but I mean, those Tasmanian tigers were great looking. But then again, you got to set them free so they kill stuff. And then finally, again, a waste of time, money, budget on the dodo bird. Totally. Come on. There's so many saber-tooth tiger. Everybody wants that. That's what everyone wants. Everybody wants a saber-tooth. They do. They just do. Hey, Dave.
Yes.
You have more of this story? I just need you to hold it quick. Can you hold a quick second?
Yeah, sure.
We have to. We got an announcement. Let's play that.
Here's a very funny name for a very serious self-defense tool. It's called the honk. That was Tanya. She's from the Children's Self-Help Project up in San Francisco. Now, the honk is not a sound you make when you're playing, and it's not a game. It's different. You use it when you're in danger.
It makes a different kind of sound than the kind of sound that kids usually make. Why in your throat? Grown-ups don't even pay any attention to that because we know. That's how kids sound when they're playing. The self-defense yell, though.
I like that. I like that.
That's a sound that comes from taking a lot of air in all the way down into your diaphragm. And then you let it out real slowly. Listen again. It sounds like this. Oh! That's a sound that grown-ups will turn around when they hear. They'll say, that must be a child that needs my attention. I'm going to check this out. That's another thing you can do to keep yourself safe.
Okay, now let's practice, all right? Nobody lazy, everybody up. Let's practice the honk. You ready? A lot of air coming out.
What the heck was that?
I don't know. Is our crew messing with us back there, Mike?
The honk? Have you
Is
ever
that what
heard
you
of it?
would do? Like, so if they resurrect the saber-toothed tiger and one's chasing you, do you think the honk would scare it off?
I think it would, but that's beside the point of what that lady was trying to say. She was trying to say that that's a sound that grown-ups will hear and think that a child's in trouble. And that's not a sound that I would at all relate to that. I would think, who the hell is making that dumbass sound? Like, does that sound like a kid in trouble? Would you tell a kid to go honk, way down low?
Sounds like a kid trying to annoy the adults that are around them.
That it just seems really, Tarzan. It's just that's too deep. All right, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. But yeah,
That was kind of weird.
Very weird. Very weird.
So back to the woolly mammoths, right?
Yeah. Why not?
Scientists want to use gene editing. They're going to produce a woolly mammoth embryo. Then they're going to select a healthy elephant surrogate, which will be injected with the embryo hybrid of the woolly mammoth. The company had this to say: in the minds of many, the creature is gone forever, but not in the minds of our scientists nor the labs of our company. We're already in the process of de-extinction of the woolly mammoth. Our teams have collected viable DNA samples and are editing the genes that will allow this wonderful megafauna to once again thunder through the Arctic, I should say.
Yeah, well, however you want to say it. Potato, tomato, it's just a different letter.
It's the Arctic, if I want to say it, Boston style, New England style.
New England style, clam chowder. Go ahead.
So I guess there's a reason why they want to bring back the woolly mammoth. They think it's going to bring balance to the Arctic grasslands and restore the surface of snow that reflects the sun's radiation. So basically, they're hoping to bring back the woolly mammoth to repair the ecosystem and restore ecological balance to the Arctic.
So is like the mammoth kind of like solar panels?
I don't know. I guess they eat, certain plants. And then I don't know how they're going to restore the surface of snow. I don't know if packing it down makes a difference or not. They didn't really say. They're just saying that that's the whole reason for bringing this back, is to bring balance to that animal's ecosystem.
Yeah. They're going against how it all played out, and they're trying to bring something back that had its chance. You ever see Copland with De Niro and Stallone?
No.
Stallone plays like a bumbling cop, and De Niro's like there's a famous line from that. He goes, De Niro says to Stallone, he says, "I gave you a chance and you blew it." That's how I feel in certain situations like this. The woolly mammoth had its shot. It blew it. We could have killed it off. Doesn't matter. Either way, it blew it. It didn't make it through. Sorry.
Someone said reinforcing the permafrost.
Yeah, that's Sarah. That's because she probably knows what she's talking about.
Thank you, Sarah.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like snowpacking in my head, but I get it. Is that all with that story? What do you got, Dave?
That's all I got with that.
All right.
Just real life Jurassic Park coming to us soon.
So here's what we got right now. Jet Fuel Gene Broida is on vacation for the next 2 weeks, kind of like a on location type thing. And I'm glad that we didn't leave on bad terms, because me and Gene sort of argued at the end. We didn't argue, we argued a point. And I actually got some feedback on that, and a lot of people agree that they were more scared of the internet. But so I guess there was no hard feelings, because Gene sent back these. She claimed it's great footage, like it's must see. We gotta watch it. So here's some like breaking film from Gene Broida.
Cruising down the streets in the neon lights, feeling kind of strong, feeling fine tonight. I don't need you, I'm okay. Down at the bar where we used to laugh, crossed my mind like a photograph. Doesn't matter in any way. I have another beer and I look around. Anyone could be your new kid in town, but I'm easy, I don't care. Across the room, I can clearly see a pretty lady making eyes at me, but your face is everywhere. Yet again, I can only think of you. Damn it, I love you, then I don't.
That was
Mike.
David Hasselhoff.
I think she's sending you a cryptic message there, Mike.
Wait a minute. First off, he was barely singing. He was barely using any air. Did you hear that for a second? Like, what did I miss? And then why did it get it? You know what? Watching a Hasselhoff video is one of the worst things you could do, because that really is. There's so many things that's wrong with it that I don't know where to start. You know what I mean? With Hasselhoff, I get an issue with Hasselhoff. I do actually have. Well, go ahead, Dave.
I think Gene's sending you a message though. You don't hassle the Hoff, and if you play with jet fuel, you get burned.
Yeah, she. You know, I agree. So let me get into a story here, and then Gene actually sent us something that's supposed to be of like a true thing. So we'll watch that after this. But
Right.
So I read this story about the witch camps, where hundreds of elderly women are left to die. The days of witch trials, it says, are often assumed long gone, but that's not the case in many places in the world. Women, primarily in Africa, are still accused of witchcraft today and suffer horrendous punishments as a result. It's particularly prevalent in Ghana, where belief in witches is deeply ingrained in the culture and stems back hundreds of years, which it does. The issue is persistent because of local beliefs. Elderly women are the most likely to be accused of witchcraft. It starts with a simple accusation, sometimes from someone close to them. Now, was just told to Newsweek. This is an article from 2023. Like, I feel like I'm reading an article from 1923. It could be because someone died in the village and they are accused of being responsible. Or tragically, the accusation can come from someone who has a debt to repay and does not want to pay it back, or someone who wants their house or goods. It says the accused are often beaten, some to death. In Ghana, there's hundreds of witch camps. So basically, the witch camps are camps for those who survived are forced to flee to either they go. Dude, the witch camps are camps those who survived are forced to flee to. Either they go there after an accusation because they fear for their lives, or they are expelled and rejected by the community after an accusation. You could have said that sentence so much easier than the way they just wrote that sentence. That sentence was 3 freaking lines, Dave. 3. There are hundreds of them in witch camps. Now, there's no electricity and no adequate housing, no welfare program for the aged and non-income earning persons. Many who are there elderly women, they cannot work. They live alone in huts and makeshift shelters. They depend on food items that relatives or charity organizations occasionally send them. These people end up dying of hunger, disease, and lack of care. So there's like these witch camps. Let me break this down here, where they're finding the remains of all these accused witches. Now, again, this is not an article from 1922, 23. It's present. So how is that possible? Like, how does that not make the news? I ask you that. Like, you know what? It's one of those. When it's in your backyard, then it's a big deal. But if it's somewhere else, you can ignore it. You can pretend it's not really happening. It's another one of those. That's what this is, right?
Yeah, it's like a modern day Salem witch trials, but because it's not happening here, it doesn't get the attention it deserves.
Here's the thing too. Like, you're abandoned, right? If they accuse you of being a witch, and it's always a power move. They're just trying to get your house. They're trying to get this. They're trying to get that. But that's still reasonable to people living today. So that's why some people don't understand that their petty, like, problems are not even like my God, like, you know what I mean? It's not even comparable. So it's just one of the. It's another one of those situations where it's like, did you see the thing with the minor? And I want to say minors. It's going to sound like I'm spelling with an O-R. I'm trying to spell with an E-R. It was all the families and they were just digging for the stuff that Apple needs, or the mines.
Oh yeah.
Mining for the thing. So just like that life of them living there and digging for that, and you see it, and it's just like they barely have clothes, and they barely look there like they're still standing, and it's like all these people just so that we can put stuff in our iPhones and all our different gadgets. It's like, so like that's going on. You got these things happen like to witches, supposed witches, in somewhere in Africa. And so it's like, how are these things not the most important stuff that's going on? And I'm being serious from a regular, like human level. How are those not more important?
Right.
Right? You don't ever hear about it, but you never hear about it. You never hear about it. You don't. I digress. All right. Hold on. Gene, go ahead. What'd you say, Dave?
I was going to say superstition is still massively ingrained in various cultures throughout the world. So, I mean, the evil eye is still a thing. Obviously, witchcraft, people believe in curses. Even in sports, I mean, players have various superstitions that they have to do, the things they do before they go up to the plate in baseball, or hockey players have massive superstitions.
Oh, God. Did you play sports, Dave?
I played baseball and soccer when I was younger.
Were you
and volleyball?
Were you superstitious?
Not really.
So I was superstitious to like a fault. I had a lot of superstitions when I played sports. Like I had to have the wristband. Like I ended up wearing the wristbands over to the band because it was a thing that I started with basketball. I had to have the wristbands. I wore one elbow pad. It was always my left because that's the left that I would throw. And then I would always, everything was always like, and then I would always do the same thing before the game. I'd have a glass of something. And then I would sit here and I'd go to this and I would stretch out when I got to the game. And I wouldn't talk to this kid before the game went off. And then I'd only talk to him. I had too many. Like it really would get in my head because once you started to do stuff and you had success, you're like,
right.
I won't have success if I don't do all this stuff. And then the thing is, you keep having success because you're getting good. But in your head, you're going, it's because I keep doing all that shit.
It gets attributed to the superstitions. I had one of my little league coaches used to get so mad at me because he always wanted me to use the same baseball bat every time I went up. And I would just grab a bat, and if it felt right, I would go up to the plate. And he would make me go back and switch back out. And he's like, same bat every time. He's like, discipline, David. I can still hear him like shouting that in my head.
Yeah, it's funny because the older, like it's funny, like the older people, like the people that were our coaches were very superstitious. If you played sports in the 80s, you had coaches that were extremely superstitious. And like, here's a funny thing. Just go to an 80s football practice and then go to a football practice in 2023. And how much different do you think society has changed? Like a lot. Like you go to a 1980s football practice, you get parents in the stands yelling, cripple them. Like just, and people don't believe me when I say that, but they're the most outlandish words they could think of. Like it was just like, what? Like if you ever pull that out today and put it just for one game today, everyone would be appalled and disgusted.
You'd be removed. Like they even have like police at some of the games for some of the things that people say nowadays. I remember like parents fighting in the stands, parents yelling at the coaches yelling back at the parents. It got pretty wild back then.
Do you remember? So my junior year, our coach was Ernie DiGregorio, former NBA Rookie of the Year, played for the Boston Braves as the rookie year, and then went down to the Boston Celtics, where he couldn't beat out Tiny Archibald, and that eventually got to his head. And Larry Bird said so in his book. Ernie D was our coach that year, so it was like a big, ridiculous tryout. Like, in other words, instead of the kids who play basketball trying out, every kid in the goddamn school tried out for that team. And they dwindled it down to 50, and they dwindled it down to whatever, and they had to get down to 12. And I remember I made number 11, so I just made the team. But then I got to play for him. And halfway through the second half, and this was like a really big thing in the paper, he pulled us off the floor because of how bad the refs were and made us get on the bus in the third quarter. Now, I want you to think about it. I'm in Cranston somewhere. It doesn't matter if it's east or west. As long as I'm saying Cranston, you should know in the 80s. How do you think the fans were reacting to the North Providence team walking off the court in their uniforms. Not very good. I don't remember a pleasant time. I remember wondering, like, we're all going to get decked. Like, we just got to get our heads on and get out of here. You know what I mean? So, anyways, I digress. I do have something back, though, from Jean. I hope she's not messing with this again, but let's see how we do.
Where it began, I can't begin to know it, but then I know it's growing strong. Was it in spring? And spring became the summer. Who'd have believed you'd come along? Hands, touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you.
I think that was David Hasselhoff again. Gene.
Don't
Gene.
Hasselhoff.
Gene, I'm sorry about last week. Please stop sending us David Hasselhoff videos and pretending that they're breaking news. Okay, we should be all set. I have another thing I wanted to go into, Dave.
All right.
Really quick. So I'm starting to look at, like, there was an article that said the Naked Experiment is a revealing new paranormal documentary. Now, the word revealing is really bad used there right after the Naked Experiment. It's just a bad pun by a bad writer, in my opinion. And secondly, where are we going to stop at these experiments? Like, in other words, at what point does the paranormal, the actual spirits, whatever you want to call it, get offended by like that naked documentary? Or what if they had to do like the Def Jam Paranormal, right? Like, what do they do that? Or what if they do like Rocky Balboa does Paranormal and it's Sylvester Stallone, but he plays Rocky Balboa the whole time? Like, at what point do these experiments become a little buffoonish? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, they take themselves so seriously, but like, is it really that serious? Like, what do you see what I'm trying to get at as I meander and I stumble through my words? Like,
what
it's
do they
like,
hope to gain from that?
yes. What's the net? What are you going to get? What is there? Are we going up levels? Like, you going to gain a couple levels by doing the Naked Experiment? Or is it just simply for entertainment? If it's like, here it is, clickbait. If that's the case, I'm down with that. I'm with it, right? That's the case for why they ran it. It's probably already been out, but that's cool. But, you know, that's a bit, the 28 days one. How about that for a second, right? So that, you know, the 28 days in, I'm sorry, that's the name of it. 28 days.
Yeah, you've talked about that a couple times.
All right. Again, I went over this with another person. I said to them, I want to ask you something. If things get really crazy on the 28th day, how do you think they'd be on the 30th day? Because I'm nuts like this, and I literally, people that are, if anybody watches this now or watches it back, and I've had a conversation with them, I've asked them about this. Like, do you think it'll be much weirder on the 30th day as opposed to the 28th day if it's been getting progressively worse? And everyone agrees without even hesitating. Well, of course. So it's just like, they should just say that 28 days is the day that they notice the first sign of it getting like really like intense for people. If they said it that way, it's easy to digest. But when they say that it's like every day is getting worse, it's almost like, if it's going to be that way, then can you really put a date, stop on the number? I know I go over that over and over again, but you see what I'm saying? Not one person says, oh yeah, it'll be easier on the 30th day.
Right.
Who would say that?
And then, so say you're at the 28th date and the show's over and you want to keep filming. What do? Like, do you do the next 28 days?
Oh boy, if you
Right?
I would suggest 56 days in. I think that's what they would call it then. 56 days in, because that you're not coming back from 56 days of that. I mean, just look, I could sit on my couch. I couldn't do that for 56 days.
I don't
Couldn't
know.
do anything.
People watch Survivor and stuff like that, though. So, I mean,
Do you mean that the people on Survivor doing it, or the people watching Survivor doing it?
people watching Survivor.
Oh yeah, no, I can't binge on that.
I can't either. Like, I can't watch that stuff, but people love it. So,
I keep walking by the TV upstairs, and for some reason, there's been really badly dubbed Asian guys and Asian girls doing all sorts of athletic feats and things of strength. And it's hard. It's dubbed like as if like they were making fun of it. Like if you remember that the American Chef when it first started, it would be like Japanese, and you'd hear, and they would make fun of the voice, and that's what they're kind of doing. Like, and then they're even like giving the people like thoughts in their heads they would be thinking. So it's like completely narrated. I don't know what the hell it is, to be completely honest. They're just doing all these lifting stuff, throwing stuff. They're building bridges. I'm walking around. I just keep walking by, Dave. I can't stop. So if I stop and watch it, I'm gonna lose my mind. Like, it's not even their voices. It's dubbed. Why are you watching this?
back to the 28 days, though, right? So say it's getting good on day 28, and the show is called 28 Days. Like, and people want to keep watching. What do you do?
Oh, no. You have to set a date to end the first season. You start season 2 is what you do.
Gotcha.
That's what I would do. You really want to be in there again? Wait for season 2. Because when you pitch something to Netflix, for the record, a pitch is never one season.
Okay.
You have to pitch them at least almost 2 full seasons. It's a season and at least the first 2 or 3 episodes of the second season.
And they do the 13 episode season thing.
Yeah, but that's a nice little side note. Hey, look at this. I missed this. What up, B? That's my daughter.
Hey, Brenna.
I was on the older one was it was. The older one was awesome because it had De Niro's chef. It had Robert De Niro's personal chef, and that guy was the bomb. He'd take shrimp, he'd take stuff, he'd chop, bang, boom, done.
You have to be Robert De Niro's personal chef, though. That guy doesn't mess around.
That's what I was thinking. That's my point exactly. Let's see. All right, Dave. It says Gene sent me something. Said, give me one more chance. Check out this ghost video.
All right.
How do we feel about this?
Let's give it a shot.
Come on, Gene. Come true this time.
I can't stop this feeling.
That was David Hasselhoff. Again, Dave.
I'm not saying it was the aliens, but maybe it was the aliens. Maybe they hijacked Gene's feed. They got onto her email server. They know she talks about him too much. They want to keep her quiet. So they converted all of her stuff to David House.
I think it's really weird that you just broke up on the internet when you try to say his name. And now your computer's acting weird. Oh, no. What if that was a virus? You think Gene sent a virus? Not at least you do that. Remind me, take a note, not to mess with Gene again.
You play with jet fuel, you get burned, Mike. You got to remember that.
God damn it. Apparently, I just can't win. I don't know. So, all right. Let's see. I'm going to go to this. This is another one that I had, is my question. So I'm going to go through, these movies. There's movies that are coming out. And yeah, we did get Rick rolled. I want to talk about them. All right. I'm going to play some of them.
I don't need a doctor. See, Dad, I'm fine.
Come on, Terry. We just want to make sure there's nothing serious.
But look, Dad. I'm as good as new. Nothing's wrong with me. Let's get out of here, okay?
The doctor will see you now, Terry.
The way she's acting, you'd think her dad was going to throw her to hungry alligators.
Was that Punky Brewster?
I was just going to ask you the same thing.
That was Punky Brewster. That was One to Grow On. That's from like the 80s. Where do you even find that, Gene?
On the internet, Mike.
Man,
Which I think maybe proves your side of the argument from last week.
Yeah.
Some really bad stuff out there on the internet.
Yeah. I mean, I have not been hit by a nuclear bomb.
But you've been hassled by the Hoff 3 times now.
3 times now. And Punky Brewster. And don't forget Fonzie doing the honk.
Doing the honk.
So I wanted to go through movies coming out. That's what I was looking for. So there's a couple of movies I want to talk about. There's Cocaine Bear. Have you seen this one?
I've seen the trailer for that.
All right. Now
it's based on a true story, Mike.
I know this. Now I'm going to tell you what my immediate reaction is, and then I'm going to tell you what my reaction was once I settled in, right? And I elevated myself and I just relaxed. So my first reaction was Cocaine Bear. That's literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. It's just a dumb idea. And then I saw the trailer and I thought, it looks so bad at times. The beer looks so bad that I ended up going, it's awesome. Like, that's how my mind works. It was so blatantly bad that I'm like, this is awesome. Like, in other words, then that movie's definitely not taking itself too seriously. It's about a cocaine bear, and it doesn't even look like a real bear, which I want my Muppets to look like Muppets, not CGI. Like, can I get the Muppets back? Do I have to see CGI stuff? Because I don't want to see CGI stuff. I want to see you make a Muppet. That makes sense?
It does. I think it's far more like what they did with, was it Chip and Dale? They kept one of them like regular, and then they modernized one of them in the movie. Like, that was just weird to me.
That was a weird movie. I actually watched the whole thing because all these characters kept popping up. They were trying to do like a multiverse. And I'm like, what is going on with this movie right here? That's a trip, that movie, Chip and Dale. But you know what it is about Chip and Dale? Like, I know Disney owns the Muppets now. But Disney's going to go out of business the way that they've been doing movies and shows. Like, they're getting too big for their britches. You know what? No one goes to Disney World really anymore. I mean, they do, but not like they used to. Imagine something like Disney World is someplace that could actually close. Like, I could see it closing in like 20 years. Why not? The way things go and they turn and things happen.
You have to, it's completely different now, Mike. You have to schedule every single second of your time there. Like, you have to make reservations month in advance for the restaurants that you want. You have that fast pass thing where you can pick, I think it's like 3 rides per day. So you have to pick the 3 that you want the most and like schedule the times for that. And like, when I was a kid, part of the fun was like you ran around and you're like, oh, I want to go on that ride, or oh, I want to eat here and then go on that ride. And like, you can't do that anymore. It's so
regimented.
Yes. It just strips all the fun out of it.
Well, the fun was that like sometimes you'd go and you'd be like, well, how was it? Did you go on the roller coaster? You'd be like, no, the line was too long. So we did like the Musical Express like 3 times.
Yeah.
Like, that in itself became a story of the night. Like, just that alone. You didn't have to go on every single ride. Like, that's another thing that I can't do. If I can't go to I could never go to somebody. If there's anybody listening, I will never go to Disney with you if you're going to have everything completely planned out, mapped out, and you're going to whip out a pen and be like, we got to be here for this, for that. I'm like, out. I'd be like, time out. I'm out. I can't follow that stuff. Can't do it. Not on vacation. Vacation is not about that. I can't do it. Couldn't do it.
That's what they do now.
I know, but
that's not normal, Mike.
No, it's not. Nothing's normal. So the biggest thing that I keep seeing is and this is kind of paranormal sports because I'll work it in watch. So the whole WNBA thing has heated up again since Brittany Griner got back. since they found out what she made a year for the WNBA, which is I think 125,000, and then they found out like what she made in Russia, because they actually make more playing overseas. That's why they go do that.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they don't get paid by the WNBA. So now the next thing to pop up was they wanted they didn't want the same amount. They wanted the same percentage that the players in the NBA got versus the owners, which is a 50-50 split. Now, here's the thing, though, Dave. They made like $60 billion to the NBA last year. And the WNBA made around like 100 million. I think it was something like that. Something those numbers. The problem with what they're saying is that if you give them 50% of what the WNBA is making, first off, they're losing money every year. Second of all, if you take 50%, I think their pay is right now anywhere from 10 to 20. You're going to have to fire coaches, GMs. You're not going to have anybody that hands out towels. The lights might not be on in the gym. Like, in other words, you've got $60,000 million to run the whole organization, flights, where they sleep, everything for a whole season. And then they want another to cut. If you cut in 20 million, where's it coming from? Right?
The owners aren't going to want any teams. They're not going to make a profit. Like,
so
that's what it's all about for them, unfortunately. But
I just wonder sometimes, like you're a big dream guy. You think that we project on ourselves like when we go after something petty like this? I can't believe that it's a good thing. I can't believe that it's like a positive thing for your soul, for your well-being. Like, to have to constantly argue over a petty thing. Like, I know I'm saying it's petty, but to them it's millions. But it's really not. They really like it's really so different, and no one wants to get the neck chopped because they don't want to say that it's different. But they're just different sports. The funny thing is, I had twins, dude. I grew up two twins, right? Not two twins, pair of twins, a boy and a girl. All right. I coached both of their teams. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that they're two totally different basketballs. And here's what I'll tell you, especially from the age of, say, like 11, 10 to say like 17. All right. The guys, you throw them on the court, they'll start playing somewhat like a team, but, they'll have the show-offs right away. Like, they'll kind of know what they're doing, but they're going to want to show off. The girls will not get along at first. It takes them like one game or two games to not like each other, and then all of a sudden, once they form a bond, though, they play as a team much better than the boys do. I know this for a fact. I'm not. This is just my opinion because I've seen it. However, one girl doesn't get dominant. Like, it's weird. Like in boys basketball, there's always that one guy trying to show that other one guy that he was the guy on the floor. And with the girls played, one girl was never trying to show that she was the best by far. They didn't play that way. It was weird. Like, it was almost frowned upon. Like, it was like, do your job, play your role, let's score, and don't. Whereas the guys, they hit a three, they're celebrating. They don't. They score 2 points on us because my guy's dancing because he just hit a three, and they inbounds the ball, and they're already halfway down the court, and he's still dancing. I've had all these things happen. Yeah, see, look, they actually form a team. You can't give them say, yeah, Sarah, yeah, you're going to give the money? Are you going to pony up the money that the men get? Well, you know what? Saying that, right, just give them the same as the men. I agree. Just give me and Dave the same as an NBA professional. Why not, Dave, right? If we're giving out money, why do we not get some? Any? No?
I don't know. Like, I'm not really a basketball person, so I don't have those experiences to draw from.
Yeah, see, this is not me being like just off the top of my head. I'm just telling you from what I saw coaching the two different basketballs. And the thing is, they use a smaller ball. Like, no one wants to talk about the fact that it's a smaller basketball. Like, if you go to a high school basketball game for girls, the guys use the full, whatever it is, and they use the one that's like 28.5. It just gets stepped down. So the ball itself is different. It's just, never mind. I digress. All right. So, Dave, I'm gonna ask you about this: UFOs in the skies, chemicals. Which side do you lean on right now? With what is the biggest threat to us?
To us, I would say the chemicals.
You think that's the cover-up?
The UFOs?
No. Yeah. Do you think all these balloons? See, because the more I sat on that and thought about it, they kept telling us that they were all different shapes, right?
Right.
Then they basically say they're all different shapes and sizes, right? At that point, I was really like, they are totally messing with us. I feel like I'm being messed with. Like balloons, and wait. First of all, it was a weather balloon that made it all the way across the country. Why? I don't know why it made it all the way. Then it was all these different little things popping up, and I've never seen the government lean on UFOs so heavily in their opening statements. I've never seen them be like, "We don't know what it is. It's self-propelled," like as if they've never seen a drone.
But now they're having like normal conversations about UFOs and like, oh yeah, I do think there are UFOs, and I do think we have to prepare and all this. Like, obviously,
I haven't heard that yet. I have not heard anybody saying we need to prepare. But if that's true, that's terrifying.
It's not, because how do you tell if a politician's lying?
You check to see if his lips are moving.
Exactly. So if they're talking about UFOs and aliens being real and they're coming now, I just think it's all smoke and mirrors. Do I think aliens exist? Yes. Do I think UFOs have been here? Yes. But for them to all of a sudden draw all this attention when they've spent so many years covering all this stuff up, I think they're diverting everyone's attention away from something else. So I find myself asking, what are they up to? They're up to something, and they don't want us to know that. They're going to pass some stupid bill that's going to screw all of us or something like that. And they're like, oh, everybody, look at the shiny UFOs up in the sky over here. Don't pay attention to us.
See where we've become as a society? We're now so skeptical, and we're so I'll say we're more so desensitized that they just started talking about, there's UFOs like last year or 2 years ago. And now it's like, this, that, the other, and they show this and whatnot. And, they're messing with us. Like, we knew you lied about them in the 40s. We know you did. Like, we know you did. So, like, why would you trust somebody who lied on one side of the argument to come join the other side of the argument and know they're telling the truth? That's ridiculous. You know what? That's like going back, justifiably paranoid. That's like going back to like, I compare this to like, if you have like if you're in a relationship and even if it's like verbally abusive, like you just keep going back for that, someone needs to step in and be like, dude, no, like pay attention. Like even if it's just a friendship and someone's no, stay away from that. Like get out of there. You're getting killed. You get killed in there, kid. Everybody needs like a Mickey from Rocky. Get out of there. You get killed.
Exactly.
Stay down. You know? But like I don't believe them right now because like there's too many balloons, right? And these chemicals. I want to know exactly what it was like 8 trains long. I want to know exactly they didn't say what was in all of them. And why did we have a controlled blast?
I didn't hear that.
There was a controlled blast there. Yeah. So they did one controlled blast. There was one controlled explosion. Now, was that to stop the fire from spreading? Sometimes they do that. They'll take out a section. That way it stops stuff. I would love to know. I would love to hear. I'd love someone to leave in the comments, like what exactly happened there, because I'm not 100% sure. Like, and I pay attention to the news, which I don't even know now what I call the news. Because if I go to CNN, I'm completely aware of where I'm at. If I go to Fox, I'm completely aware of where I'm at. So it's like I don't want to go to a dance club, and I'm not doing the rock and roll club tonight, for Christ's sakes. I just wanted to sit down, maybe listen to a record. Like I don't want those extremes. You know what I'm saying, Dave? You ever walk into a club and it's boom, 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 and you're like, what is this?
That's the problem. Like you got the extremes of both sides getting all the attention when the rest of us are kind of in the middle and we're like, all right, what is all this crap? You know,
Yeah.
we obviously know that these are the two extremes. Why are they getting so much of the air? Well, it's clickbait, like Sarah said earlier. You know, all the things that they do, it's generally clickbait and sensationalism. And
Now,
and the news is all about ratings. It's not about news anymore. Let's face it.
but they don't like to speak about the paranormal news. In other words, they're never going to give airtime to like a serial killer or, you know, hauntings in this area. They never give that type of news. It like that's the type of news that will scare people, but it's you don't it might turn them away. They'd rather tell you about, you know, wars and crap like this. I was saying the other day, like all the paranormal stories I've ever read, I've rarely ever seen them on like on the news. I mean, of course they've been on the news, but it's like I rarely see them on the news. It's like, so like, does that just mean mainstream media doesn't believe in it, or mainstream media just wants to suppress everything? Which will lead me back to the UFO. Is it UFOs? Is it the chemical leak? Like, what do you think it really is? Are they just trying to suppress stuff?
I don't know. I think like they don't want to weird people out. Like you see the occasional story about like a psychic who helped a detective find a missing body or something like that. Like they throw us a little bone every once in a while, but that stuff happens far more than we realize.
Yeah. So, I had a weird event happen. I'm just gonna keep it like this. I keep having, like, people keep saying that like there's something going on, like they accuse me of being like maybe psychic or whatnot, and but why are you blocking it? Why are you doing that? Like they always, everybody picks up that energy from me, and it's just like I said, remember I did with my dreams? I came up with a way to block my dreams, like to like, alter them. I've always had that sort of a thing in me, but I don't want anyone to know. I don't want to discuss it. Whenever we have a medium on the shows, I never want to ask them any questions about me. I try to stay out of it, right? And then on a dare, I was thinking of someone that was telling me all about this stuff, and I was like, all right. And I, listen to me, man, this is the truth. I literally went, all right, I'm going to close my eyes. Now, I'm being condescending. I got to be honest. When I was doing it, I was being condescending. Like, I wasn't being serious. Like, I'm like, I'm going to contact this person mentally, right? As I'm doing it, I'm laughing, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take this serious because, I don't know, I felt like I was, whatever. So I just, for a second, dude, I was like, in my head thinking something, like sending a message, right? I'm like, that was funny. I'm laughing at myself. Going about my business. About a half hour later, boom, I get a message. Like, you told me to call you. I was like, uh-oh. What? Yeah, you said to call you. I was like, that was the message I sent out to that exact person to prove to them they were completely wrong. And I was like, what the like, dude, I don't know if you've ever had things like that happen to you in your life where someone does something to you like that. Now, coincidence or not, whatever you want to call it, it was just like, that was weird. That was weird. Like, that was like, and then I wonder, and the way it's explained to me is that just the spider webs of it being said.
There's a cool thing. You just reminded me, I saw an article. I haven't finished reading it yet. But science is saying there's nothing. There's this like material out there.
Dark matter. We had a guy on.
It's not dark matter. It's something else.
Really?
So, and it's like when you talk to people who practice magic or hermetics or things like that, and they're talking about the ether, or they're using the elements, not the physical elements, but the magical manifestations of the elements.
Yep.
So they're drawing on earth, fire, air, water, but it's the essences of those things. Science thinks that there really is something to that. Like there's nothing. They're tapping into some kind of potential material out there.
So the way that this guy was explaining a dark matter, he was trying to say that what we are in our universe is like as if you had a big jug of booze like this, and it was all dark matter except for like a little white thing floating around in it, and that would have been our universe compared to what they've determined dark matter takes up. Like, just the idea of it is a bit much, and you really got to think it through. But like that's like saying that. And then I said to the person, "So doesn't that make us special?" And he's like, "No, it makes us like we don't matter at all." And I'm like, kind of makes me feel like we're special. Like if you're that light and all that darkness,
Right.
how does that make you just, oh, look how small you are? I'd be like, yeah, but I light up. Like, you know what I mean? Like you could be 7 feet tall, 8 feet tall. If you can't walk in the dark, if you can't go outside and people can see you, but I shine like less than a light bulb, for Christ's sakes, then by all means, does that make any sense? Does that make any sense at all? Sometimes I wonder if I make sense at all. Hold on one second.
Hi, I'm Kim Fields, and I'll be right back with One to Grow On.
Was that Tootie?
That was Tootie.
That was Tootie, right?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mr. T, and I'll be right back. We want to grow on.
Was that Mr. T?
He pities the fool who messes with jet fuel Gene.
Hi, I'm David Hasselhoff, and I'll be right back. One to grow on.
Once again, Mike, don't hassle the Hoff.
You want to know what's messed up? That was probably his best performance we've seen all night. How enthusiastic was he just then?
He's
right back with weight. He was so handsome back then that he didn't even have to talk. Handsome just came out of his
huge in Europe, though. Like he has a massive musical career over there. That's paranormal.
No, but here's the thing though. That guy, I mean, come on, the Hoff back in the Kit days. That's a handsome guy. You can't hold on.
This
is the younger Hoff. Wait, look how handsome. So that's a Baywatch Hoff. But he's still, I mean, come on. You got to give it up to handsome. Like, he's the Hoff. But Gene, I apologize. It won't happen again. David, do you have anything you want to say to wrap this up before Gene just completely hijacks it?
I'm kind of baffled by the whole Hasselhoff thing. So
I don't know what
I'm
it means.
speechless, Mike. I've been left speechless.
If I go outside and I get hit by like a black Trans Am or a black Camaro or something that looks like Kit.
It's funny you say that because a kid I went to high school with just posted it's the 20th anniversary of his dad finding him that car, and they tricked it out with that kit, and they made the little lights that go back and forth across the front of it. So there is one of those cars in Rhode Island, and it is
What is his
February.
first name, though? What's his first name? The kid who owns it.
Rob.
Sorry, Rob. Doesn't work for you.
Mike, it is February.
What name would you want to hear? I know it is. But what name would you want to hear that goddamn car say? Michael.
Yeah.
Bang. He should sell it to me. He should sell that car to me. Come on, man. I got a jacket. It looks just like one the Hoff used to wear. Look at this. You are going to have dreams of the Hoff. You are primed. Yeah, you know what? If we do, we will let you know next week on the news if we both have separate dreams of the Hoff. Dave, I'm going to wrap this up because Gene, there's someone at the door. So, for Dreamy David Barr, for Jet Fuel Gene Broad, I will not forget and never offend you again. It is me, Mike Leprey King Miguel. This was a legit paranormal news brought to you by legitpodcast.com. We will see you again next Wednesday. Tomorrow night is Legit Paranormal Clips at 8:05.